Okay, welcome back to the local SCP researchers. I am researcher Dr. Church.
Dr. Ireland?
And
Visiting Dr. Mulder.
which thankfully he's actually decided to show up, unlike last week.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, that's fair. Today we will be talking about SCP-270, also known as the Secluded Telephone. You know how this works. We start off with special containment procedures, then descriptions, then a addendum if it has any, and in this case we have level 5 contents that we will be talking about, and that'll be interesting. So, special containment procedures. Due to SCP-270's immovable nature, a structure has been built around it that outwardly appears to be a large farmhouse, henceforth called Outpost Delta. Outpost Delta is to be staffed with a minimum of redacted personnel. Extensive records of SCP-270's ciphers are kept at Site-11. Extensive records of decoded ciphers are available in Data Expunged. If the security of Outpost Delta is compromised, SCP-270 is to be destroyed along with all on-base records of verified or unverified information accumulated and manuscripts outlining various encryptions SCP-270 has used. Description: SCP-270 is a nondescript black telephone of mid-20th century make. There were no human populations exceeding redacted people per redacted square meters within the redacted radius of the location of discovery. And SCP-270 itself was well hidden by surrounding native vegetation. The unusual properties of SCP-270 were apparent upon discovering that the power cord extended an indefinite length into the soil directly below 720, despite which is a steady voice was speaking through the earphone. Investigations regarding how long the cord have been officially discontinued see Addendum 720-A. What makes SCP-720 of continued interest is the audio stream from the earphone, which has since been discovered to contain encrypted messages that are of value to the Foundation. Said ciphers are referred to as SCP-270-1. For the most part, SCP-270-1 consists of mildly distorted human female voice. See Addendum 270-B, speaking in a steady monotone which has been recorded listing letters, data expunged, incomprehensible words, sounds that cannot be produced by any known animal and that continue for extended amounts of time. Redacted confirmed languages have been distinguished to date, redacted of which are recurring. Monologues, nursery rhymes, redacted, leading to speculation as to whether or not the narrator is in fact human, etc. The following has also recorded melodies, periods of silence, see Addendum 720-C, metallic scraping noises that have been looped and recalibrated so they play roughly at the same tune as several classical music tunes, and a handful of data expunged, Morse code, data redacted, human screaming, various computer programming languages, every known language on Earth, including, in one instant, Pig Latin, data expunged possibly of biological origin, condescending laughter, music played backwards, music redacted, conversations that have inevitably been recorded ranging from redacted politically significant and extensive protected areas to what was most likely an average household, discussing what grocery supplies to buy at the supermarket, static, ambience, soundtracks, etc. SCP-270 is otherwise a perfectly normal phone and is susceptible to damage as similar phones would be. Disassembly has not uncovered the source of 270's unusual properties. currently disputed, referred to incident 720-redacted, in which data expunged. Attempts to decipher 2070-1 have yielded partial successes. In one notable case, a complicated cipher proved to be an extensive description of SCP Redacted's imminent attempt to breach containment. Evidence of such was found in the redacted of SCP Redacted's containment. Containment breach was accordingly prevented. Decoded portions have alternately been startlingly useful to the Foundation and immensely frustrating to both personnel working on 270-1 and the Foundation officials. For example, one data expunge our study of what seemed to be significant cipher proved to translate into a long, painstakingly thorough list of extremely unofficial synonyms for human redacted. Interesting. Likewise, information gained from 270-1 have proved both data expunged, preventing a possible XK class end-of-the-world scenario, and listed secret ingredients of Dr. R's widely praised cherry pie. As it is impossible to determine how useful portions of 270-1 will be, personnel are advised to choose whatever segments of 270-1 they deem to be most promising. However, some portions of cipher are either too intricately encrypted for our most presumptuous personnel to decode, or indeed may hold no meaning at all. Attempts to decode 270-1 are continuously ongoing. See Addenda 270-D and 270-E. Addendum 270-A. A probe was extended a total of redacted meters along the wire before the maximum extension length was reached. The matter has since been declared not sufficient enough of interest to merit a more thorough examination. Addendum 270-B. As of redacted military time, the unidentified female voice of 270-1 stuttered for redacted seconds before breaking down into what researchers described as disconsolate sobs, pleading to redacted. This continued for redacted seconds before audio cut off interruptly to a redacted minute excerpt of 270-1 from redacted. Immediately afterwards, 270-1 proceeded as usual, the only noticeable difference being that the voice narrating 270-1 was male. Further examinations that this was in fact not silence but audio stimuli, both too high and too low pitch for human perception. Redacted additional unidentified languages have been discovered upon studying Outpost Delta with appropriate audio equipment. Addendum 720-D. As of late, 270-1 has become noticeably more difficult to decode. This includes utilizing more convoluted methods of encryption, loud background noises being added while the narrator is speaking, multiple voices speaking out at once, and in one case, loud redacted, extremely personal details redacted. Dr. A, who had been visibly shaken by the event, morale has since plummeted while stress levels have skyrocketed. A computer program has been coded in order to automatically decode portions of 270-1. A recreation wing has been added to Outpost Delta. Addendum 270-E. Data processor 270-1 has been discontinued. All attempts to electronically resolve portions of 270-1 have thus far failed. from redacted to redacted. Level 5 security clearance required. As of late, concerns have risen regarding the psychological states of personnel working on 270. What I'm talking about, of course, are the natural issues that arise when you have a situation like this. Namely, putting a bunch of highly intelligent, motivated, tenacious people together and ordering them to solve a puzzle that may or may not have a solution, and telling them that lives may depend on their success or failure. Recently, Dr. Redacted, by some inhuman effort, cracked redacted minutes worth of cipher that had been discarded by communal agreed as a dud and data expunged, resulted in an average version of a XK class end of the world scenario. This has not been beneficial for the mental states of many personnel, as every dud they discard may contain information regarding an equally disastrous event. Since then, there have been rapidly emerging paranoia and or obsession-related disorders. Some personnel are beginning to insist that the most trivial details of the cipher contain important messages. Others have not slept or eaten in days in their pursuits, and still others have suffered from psychological breakdowns. Outpost Delta has since been supplied with more personnel in order to attempt to spread the workload more thinly. However, the effects in having a few days of diligent work crumble into a dud repeatedly have proven to be an absolute disaster for morale and at times mental stability. Currently, we only have enough staff to decode roughly redacted % of the cipher. So far, reassigning personnel after a redacted month stay at Outpost Delta, applying Class A amnestics, and returning them to work on 270-1 at the end of a redacted month period of low-pressure jobs have worked fairly well as a short-term solution. This, however, requires a rather large amount of personnel to be continually circulated in and out of Outpost Delta to maintain the minimum amount of staff required to decode the greater portions that comes out of 270. God. In addition, long-term circulation through Outpost Delta has shown to ingrain certain paranoia and extensive mental behaviors that Class A amnestics don't wipe clean. Data expunged. Nature of SCP 2070. This is exactly what it wants. If certain people are to be trusted, data expunged. Disconcerting to said 05 member. Redacted, not in fact a method of safe communication between unknown entities, as originally hypothesized, but rather data expunged. I request for this matter to be discussed more in depth sometime in the near future. Dr. Redacted. End of report. Anyway, so what do you think?
So, first question, before we do anything else. This is a telephone.
An old, very old telephone, yes.
It's rotary.
Rotary phone, yeah.
It was it said 20th century rotary phone.
Yeah, so 1900s, yeah.
That is funny.
So,
it's cursed.
Yeah, not so funny with the fact that it could have possibly information about how to save us from a XK class end of the world scenario. Which, in case you didn't know, that's doomsday, my dude.
So, in the book, it shows a picture of somebody on the phone
In a farmhouse.
With
is Outpost Delta.
A bomb or something going off, and the other person's like freaking out.
What the hell?
I know.
On the side it says, many personnel working on SCP-270 have reported nightmares showing them consequences of their mistakes. Possible ways of treatment are being discussed.
Yes, I know. Which, I'm guessing that this thing doesn't just give information, but also causes the mental... But whatever it literally causes people's mental capacity to utterly deteriorate.
Yeah, at least it doesn't cause death.
I mean,
it could.
With psychological breakdown, I very much
Okay,
could.
but it's not like the wardrobe. The wardrobe was just bad.
What level is this?
This is a Euclid class anomaly, meaning that we don't exactly know how it works. The note I read, however, was straight level 5. And even then, with all the redacted bits, it's not exactly giving much information.
So with the highlighted bits on
Highlighted is redacted information.
okay.
Because we can't read it, that's the point.
The underlined bits. Like on the level 5, there's underlined bits in red.
I know. I don't think we need to talk about the book. I think we need to talk about the anomaly.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, I think that is terrifying. That our only that a good source of our information regarding how to stop certain events is encrypted in this stupid telephone.
Which sucks because.
It sucks considering it's gonna take like they said, it took. By some superhuman effort, cracked redacted minutes, which I'm guessing probably was a long freaking time.
Yeah. Just for a small bit of...
Especially considering what they said that they used computers to decode the stuff bits at a time, but then it was eventually discontinued because it wasn't right.
Yeah. And it took so long.
Which is why it needs humans in order to do it.
Yeah.
And you got anything to say about this one?
This thing is kind of messed up low key. Like secret codes, I don't know. It's
like if they really wanted to warn us, why would they have to put it into codes to warn us?
I don't know.
Making it difficult for us to even understand.
That, or maybe there is a reason after all.
They're trying to hide it until we figure it out, and then it gives us enough time to...
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm thinking, because maybe this isn't trying to hide it from us, it's trying to hide it from something else as it's being sent to us.
Yeah.
That's where it goes into whole, separate realities connected to this one, or something along those lines.
And, or... when we decode it, it knows how long it would take us to decode it, so we have enough time to do something to somehow get away from it, or...
Okay, but then again, like we said, many of them have come up as duds, and many of them have come up in languages we can't understand.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how well this would work. As an early warning system, anyway. You get anything to add?
No, not really.
Okay, well, and I think that is going to wrap it up for our discussion on SCP-270, the Secluded Telephone. And tune in next week where we discuss SCP-1529, also known as the King of the Mountain.
Give the